Greetings, Earth enthusiasts. If you ever wondered about the incredible perspectives our planet has to offer from high above, you're in the right place. I am Dr. Clive Coetzee, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this captivating journey into the world of remote sensing. Welcome. And please remember to like, subscribe to, and share this video. Thank you. Now that we have created two nighttime light images for each data set, we specified those images for our region of interest, and we've created those images for specific time period. And we've displayed those images. And we've added some color to it, just jazz it up a bit to make it a bit neat, etc., etc. And specifically, we added the color palette using the function within our layers window, which is the visualization parameters. And remember, you can play around here to choose your optimum or your best case palette. You simply just apply, and it will apply it. And if you want to import that color visualization parameters into your script, you simply just press import. The code will be located on the top of your script, and you simply just copy and paste that code into your script, or you can just leave it as it. That's up to you. But yeah, take a bit of time, play around with the different options that's available in this little window to familiarize yourself with the options, and it becomes particularly valuable when you have multiple bands. When you have images with multiple bands, then those parameters become especially useful. But that being it is, we've created the layers, etc., etc. I'm just going to close it. Okay, now one thing that I want to, or a couple of things that we want to play around in this particular tutorial is the statistics. Now, remember, the DMSP data set only contains annual data within the Earth Engine. Remember, there is monthly images and data is available, but only on the website. But in Earth Engine, it only gives you annual images, whereas the VS data set gives you monthly images. So what we've done here is we have simply just compare a arbitrary month. We just selected the 5th month, and we compared the night light intensity image of the 5th month with the whole year of 2013. Now, intuitively, that doesn't really make sense. So ideally, what we want to do is we want to create an annual image of 2013 for VS. But remember, VS are monthly. So we want to create a statistics where we instructed the code editor to take all the images in 2013, i.e. all 12 images, and we want to create a singular image from those 12 images based on the median statistic. So that will then give us an annual image for DMSP and an annual image for VS, and that should be a better comparison to make. Whereas in this case, we're comparing a whole year of DMSP with a singular month and an arbitrary month on the 5th month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a statistic to each of these two data sets. So I'm simply, where we select the band, I'm simply just going to include the statistic that I want to use to calculate my annual images. And remember, I'm going to use the median. So I simply just say dot median, and I'm open my brackets, and I do it for both. Dot median, and I open my brackets. Okay, now I can change that, the time periods for both images to be exactly the same. So I'm creating now a median image, which would anyway happen for 2013 based on the annual. So nothing really changes there, except it takes the median image, the annual image. And in this case, it takes For the VS dataset, it takes all 12 images, which is the monthly images in 2013. It calculates a singular image based on the median statistic. I'm going to leave the visual parameters exactly the same, and now I'm going to display it. Remember, in one of the previous tutorials, we added the statistic where we add um, the name into the layers script. Remember, we had it somewhere there, and we basically created median. Sorry, median. We've created we included the statistic there. But in my case, I'm not going to include it there. I'm rather um, includes it where I select the band. It's no real big difference, except in the add layer, I want to keep the reference as simple as possible. Specifically, when I start adding it for export, etc. So I'll rather include my statistics where I select my band. Okay. I just want to quickly delete this, the code for the exports. Let's just delete that quickly. And now let's run the code now. So as I said, it's going to create two images, and those two images will be median images for the entire year rather than just for a particular month. So let's just move this code up so that we can increase the size of the images itself. And that will, as I said, allow us to make, I think, a better comparison between the DMSP and the VS images than if we use one arbitrary month in a particular year. Okay, so again, if we toggle between the images, again, it is evident there between the two, but it gives you a better perspective. Now, I want to export those images because I want to continue working with it, let's say in QGIS or wherever the case might be. For example, converting it into vector or doing some statistical work, whatever the case might be. So I would like to export those. So I simply just include my code, which is the export.image to drive. Remember what images I want to export. I want to export the DMSNP nightlight image. So I just copy remember the add layer, the image that you include in the layer, that's the image that you're going to import. I'm just going to copy that. And that would be the name of the image. The scale, as I said, 13. The folder in my Google Drive is Veldrift. You can change it. Remember, we have our region of interest is defined as Roy. So I'm going to type that to Roy. So that will export my DMSP image. And I also want to create a export for my VS image, and I simply just create that, and I just copy and paste the name of it as well, and voila, now I've got can export those two images. I can run again, and the export functions will be displayed in the task, and there sits the two export functions. Now let's just go to my my drive. If I go to my drive just to make sure I've got a folder, there sits the folder. It's currently empty. So let's just then run it. So I simply just click run. The window pops up. I leave it exactly as is. And that's where you don't want spaces, because if you add spaces, you're going to struggle to export it. So remember, no spaces. Try to keep your spaces to 0. So while that's waiting to initiate the export function, I'm going to export both these two images into my Google Drive, and obviously from my Google Drive, I can then download it and then use it in any QGI, any GIS program such as QGIS or Geoda, which will be um, areas of focus in a later set of tutorials, because um, there's things that you can do in those programs that you can't necessarily do or as easy than you can do than in the Earth Engine. Okay, so there's my two images. It's being exported into my Google Drive, and that gives you the time. Okay, so remember always to save. Let's keep on saving, always saving, saving, saving. Okay, so there it is. So now I've created the basic code. It's clipped. There's some time periods, etc., etc. But now this is in 2013, and in the DMSNP, remember, if the DMSNP, let's quickly go. I'm going to copy that specific unique identifier. I go to my Earth Engine, I go to Datasets, and I go search, and I copy that unique identifier into the Earth Engine data catalog. It will display um, the image itself, and it says that that image is from 1992. So what I want to do um, in my script, I want to compare the night lights of my region of interest from 1992 to 2013. Okay, so um, let's copy that specific piece of code, and I'm going to paste it in. So I'm going to create a second two piece of code. In this particular one, I'm going to say I'm looking for 1992 um, for the whole year, for the whole of 1992. So I'm going to create now two images for the DMSNP data set. I'm going to create a 1992 image, and I'm going to create a 2013 image. And that will allow us to look at or to explore what has happened in my region of interest between those two periods. Now remember, you cannot have two variables with the same name. So in this case, I'm going to call it 1992, and I'm going to call it 2013. Remember, I have I need to create a second code for this part as well, where I'm creating a median of the band. So I'm going to create it there as well. Remember, this is 1992, and this one becomes 2013. And I'm going to create that also, name it also 1992 and 2013. Okay, so now I've created two images for my DMSNP dataset, a 1992 image and a 2013 image, and it's going to be medium images for that particular band. My visualization parameter stays exactly the same. And remember, I also have now two layers for the DMSP that I need to add. I need to add a layer for 1992 and a layer for 2013, and rename it 1992 and 2013. And remember, there's another export image. Let's paste it in there as well, and that is 1992 underscore 1992. This is a 2013 and underscore 2013. If you want to add singular years or more years, you just do exactly the same what I've done now. Okay, so for the years, we've got to let's copy that in, and let's just copy that in as a unique identifier, and see the time duration of that. So I'm going to add it into my unique identifier. And there it is. So I'm going to look at, so I can go 2013. Okay, so I'm going to create another one, another image. Ultimately, there's going to be 4 images. Let's just create another image. Paste that piece of code in there, and I'm saying that's going to be for 2013 or 2023. I'm going to leave the years as is. It's not going to make an issue. And this will be then 2013, and this will be 2023. And I need to create another median image for 2023 as well. So I'll just copy and paste that code in there. Remember, it is vars 2013 and 2023. This is 2013 and 2023. Median images for 2013, which is 2013 median images. And then need to add another image to my layers, to my map. And that's called 2013, and that's underscore 2013, and that is 2023 underscore 2023. And then I have to add another image to my export, and that's going to be 2013 and underscore 2013, and this is going to be 2023, and this is going to be underscore 2023. Okay, let's save before something happens. So let's save. Okay, so let's have a look. See, by the way, you can see there those 2 images, or the image has been saved. When it's in blue, if it's like red, in this case, it means there was a problem. So you can see it's saved. It took 7 minutes to save it. Let's go and have a look and see if my folder, and there it sits. And simply you can just go and you can say download it. Okay, so let's have a look now. I've amended my script, so there's going to be 4 images. Let's press run to make sure that there's no problems in my console window. If there were any errors with my code, it will show in there. But it's not, so it's all good. Let's have a look at task. So all 4 exports will now sit there. Remember, we've already exported the 1992 DMSP, and we've already exported the VIRS 2013. So I'm not going to export those. Well, we can. We'll just delete the other 2. Okay, so let's make it a bit smaller. So that window, so that we can include it. And now we can compare, not between the 2 data sets, but within each data set. We can then see how the nightlight intensity for any particular location within my region of interest have changed over that specific time for that specific data set. Okay, so all of them has loaded. So let's look at the DMSNP first. Let's take this specific location, which is the town of Saldanha and Vredenburg. Let's look at its nighttime light footprint in 1992. And then we overlaid with 2013, and you can see the difference. Wow, look at that. Amazing. That's 1992, and that's 2013. That's quite significant. That's quite significant. So let's go to console or inspector and click on that specific location and see what it has changed. So in 92, according to the DMSP, its nightlight intensity had a value of 26. But look at 2013, its nightlight intensity was 62. So that's more than a doubling of its nightlight intensity over that particular time. So the statistics and the visualization parameters clearly display that specific area. Let's look at another area. So let's go to, let's say, this coastal area. Let's zoom in here. We can look at the coastal areas. We know that coastal areas has been very, very fast growing. So let's have a look and see. So um, let's look at the nightlight in 1992, light night in 2013. 1992, 2013. And you can see this particular area here on your bottom right, how its nightlight intensity have increased. Remember, in our color palette scheme, remember there, the black and purplish colors are low nightlight intensity, closer to 3. Okay, so if we look at that, that's the town of Veldrift that have seen quite a significant increase in economic or in nightlight activity. Have a look at that again, and you can look at that. So let's export it out. Let's zoom out. Let's display the whole region of interest. A region of interest. Yeah, and then let's activate the two data sets again. Let's see if we can find areas where the nightlight intensity have actually decreased. Now, visually from this far away, this might be a little bit more tricky, but let's see if we can manage to find out. It's going to be very, very difficult. So um, unless you zoomed in, unless you have a rough idea, then it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. Yeah, now you can see in most places that nightlight intensity has increased within the region of interest. Also, you can see clearly where is the highest nightlight intensity regions. Okay, so now let's have a look at, let's zoom out again. So now let's do the same exercise using the VS. So let's activate the two VS images, one for 2013 and one for 2023. Let's zoom in again in our region of into the Vredenburg Saldanha area within our region of interest. Let's display it. And let's display the 2013 image. So there's a 2013 image and the 2023 image. And you can see quite a bit of difference here. For example, you can see a decrease in nightlight around the port area here. And that's simply because there was a massive steel factory that closed. But you can also see in the town area where the nightlights have decreased. So let's quickly go and have a look at our inspector. Let's select the location and see what has happened. So there's the Veers in 2023. That specific area had a nightlight intensity of 52. Now it only has a nightlight, sorry, it has a nightlight intensity of 13. So clearly a decrease in the nightlight activity. So let's have a look again at that other specific location, which is close here by the seaside area. Let's see what has happened there. So there is its footprint, its nighttime lights intensity footprint in 2013. And let's have a look at 2023. Not much changed. Very, very similar. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at this particular area. Let's at the numbers. You'll see in 2013 it had a value of 12. In 2023 had a value of 2013 had a value of 17. 2023 had a value of 12. So basically just a little bit of the polar opposite of the DM. Now I know that this particular area has expanded significantly. And let's see whether we can pick that up through the nightlight images. Let's untick 2013. And again, what we can do here is play around with the visualization parameters a bit, because it doesn't, yeah, you can clearly see there's a bit of a increase in nightlight activity here. Let's use the inspector. Let's use this particular area here. And you can see it is definitely increased. Still very, very low, 1, but definitely an increase. Whereas in the yeah, in the DMSP, it also increased, but remember, you can't really compare the two. But yeah, it has increased. So this seems to have a continuous increase from 1992 to 2023. So let's move out a little bit. Yeah, and as I said, we can now play around and add more dates to it. We can change our dates um, within the parameters that we operate in. Um, let's say, for example, we want to look at not the median image, but let's say the mean images. Let's have a look at the mean and see how that may affect it. So I'm not looking at the median. I'm looking at the mean. Remember, I've got 4 images, so I need to make 4 changes. So let's make that also mean. And I press run. And let's see what if there's any differences. Let's have a look and zoom into this particular area. Let's make this smaller again. Remember, that's now, let's start from 1992. So that was the DMSP images in 1992. You can clearly see the increase in 2013. Then this is the VS image in 2013. Mean images, remember. And this is the mean VS image for 2023. Roughly the same, not too much of a difference between the median and the mean. Let's have a look there to see. Pretty much the same. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at the sum images. Let's have a look at sum. Change it to the sum statistic. Let's change that to sum. Change that to sum. And change that to sum as well. And press run. Let's have a look what happens now. Let's decrease that, increase, zoom into the images itself. Remember that the whole time the new task of exporting will appear, because every time you run it, it will view it as a new instruction. Let's go back to our area itself, the one that we looked at now. That's the 92 image, 2013 image. But you can see it's the same picture roughly, just being displayed. You can see in the viewers, there's quite a big difference between the mean, median, and sum images. See, that is the viewers 2013. You can see it looks very different to the median or the mean image. Let's look at the viewers, the sum in 2023. You can clearly see the differences there. Look at there, that's the viewers 2013 and the viewers 2023. You can clearly see how nightlight activity has diminished, specifically around the outer areas. Let's have a look in the coastal areas here to see whether we can see the same issues here. You can see 2013, and you can look at 2013. Here you don't see so much of a difference. Not like in the urban areas here. The coastal areas seem to be pretty much the same. Let's go and have a look at this particular area. Remember this area that I said I know I experienced quite a bit of increase. That's the VS in 2013. And that's the sum in 2023. Let's have a look and see. That looks a little bit, a bit different. Let's quickly use the inspector tool. Click on that. 3 and 7, 40 and 31. So that area is actually experience a decrease. In the sum activities, let's have a look. This area increase experienced the increase in nightlight activity. That specific location experienced a decrease. So interesting. Some areas increases, some areas decreases. Okay, so let's zoom out again. Make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, so in this tutorial, we've added more images to our script so that we can compare not just with between the two different data sets, but also within a data set, so that we can identify areas that have um, increased its footprint, its nightlight intensity footprint, and areas where potentially um, there was decreases in nightlights. Remember, nightlights is a very good proxy for economic activity. So by using nightlights, we can identify areas or cities or regions that's expanding, where they're expanding, by how much they're expanding, and then use that as a proxy for economic growth or economic expansion. And we've added all four images to our layers, to our map, and we've also exported. By the way, if we go to my Google Drive, there is both images that we've exported, and I said from here I can basically just download them into my hard drive, and I can basically just export it to or open it up in QGIS for further work, which we'll get to. Remember to save. Um, um, and yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Our script is getting there slowly but surely, and we're starting to really make inroads in our remote sensing journey. Please remember to like and subscribe and all the fancy things. Ring that bell or ring it a couple of times. And I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you on the other side.